Alright, in this video we'll create a plugin that will show who is logged in and who failed while making an attempt of logging in into the website. So here this is the table that shows who has logged in. So let me just try to log in, and first of all let me just write some random user ID and password, and let's see whether it's logged in or not. And yes, you can see it got logged in. And let me just log in with the correct username and password, and that data could also be stored in this particular table, and these table are coming from the custom table on the database, which is this one. You can see this is the table name and these are the columns, and these columns and row will get reflected into the dashboard. And not only just displaying, we have a pagination feature which just shows only 3 per page. And if you need sorting, the sorting is also there. If you click on status, you'll see the failed first, and if you click again, then you'll see the success first. The same way this can be made ascending and descending just by clicking on this. This table is sortable and it's paginated. Now without wasting time, let me show you what are the things that we are going to focus on. First and foremost thing, we'll see how to create a table. So this is a table that we have created custom. It doesn't come with the WordPress table, we have to create it manually. And then we have a dashboard menu. If you'll see this login logs, this is actually a menu. Once you click on it, you'll see this table. And we have seen how to save the logged in user details, and the user who has failed to log in details, that data can also be fetched. And since it's local host, you can't see the IP address. If it's a working website, you would see logged in details or the IP address. And now we'll see how to create a custom table. So this table is coming from the core library, which is wp underscore list underscore page. And then we'll see how to create a pagination and how to make this table sortable. So without wasting time, let's get started. So the first and foremost thing that you need is, let me just deactivate the plugin first. We just need to click on deactivate, so it doesn't override with our current plugin which we are about to create. To make your plugin show up on this page, you have to get into your plugins folder, and it's my plugins folder, and you just need to create a folder with a name, and I'm going to name it as history, and we need to open it with the Visual Studio Code. Click on select folder, and since you have a folder called history, you need to create a file inside it. It's going to be a PHP file. It should have the name similar to your folder name. It's not compulsory, but it's a naming convention that we need to follow. Now we need to give your description about your plugin, and that would be with the help of this comment UIMonk. The name of the plugin you need to give UIMonk history, or you can say log history. And then this is going to be the description about your plugin, this is going to be the version of your plugin, this is going to be the author. Now if you refresh, you could see the details what you have entered should be over there. We have named our plugin as UIMonk log history, and these are the description, the version, and the author. Now when I activate this plugin, there would be a function triggered, and that function would create a table. So let's just do that, and the function name is going to be register activation hook. Let me close the other tab. Now we need to create the relevant columns that we need, and that should be in the form of query. So we need to create a SQL query. So to run the SQL query, we need a global variable which is wpdb. Let's do that. So with the help of wpdb, we can get the prefix of the current table. So this is the the prefix here is wp underscore, and this is the global db. With the help of this global db, we got the prefix, and with the help of prefix we are creating a table name, and this is the character set. We don't have to worry about that much. Now these are the columns: ID, IP address, login user, login status, and login item. And we are passing the character set and the table name. And to make this query run, we have a function called delta db. So that delta db is specifically for the custom table, not for the inbuilt WordPress table. So to call that, we need to first call the location of the file first and then call the function. And now you see this delta db is located inside wp admin includes and upgrade.php. Since our plugin is active, make sure it's active. This is the one which we are creating right now. And if you refresh, if you click on this database, and if you find for the table what you're looking for, which is this one, let's make sure our plugin is active and click on A1, and this is a table which is created on plugin activation. Now what we need to do, we need to save the data on the table who is logged in. So who is trying to log in and got success. Now here it's very simple. What are the data that we need to fetch? We need to fetch the IP address, which we can get with the help of PHP, and then the login username and the success. If the login is success, then the text would be success. If the login is fail, then the text is fail, and the current time. Now with the help of the hook WP login, we'll be getting the current logged in user and the name of the logged in user. So with this user we have access to the table called WP underscore user. Now with this we need to insert the data. So to insert data, we need this table prefix and the WPDB to make our query work. And with the help of the server superglobal PHP variable, we'll be getting the IP address. Since it's localhost, it won't work. Now with the help of global variable, we just need to write the query. Previously we used create query, now it's insert query. We are inserting into the table name with the IP address that we have received and the login user. So this is going to be the username and this is going to be the success. And that's it. We should see if anyone tries to log in. Let's try to log in to the incognito mode, and that data would get stored. So admin, if it is success, you should see the data should be populated in the table. Yes, that works. Now similarly, need to write one more function. I just forgot to say this. So this is the priority. So WordPress gives you your function to choose your own priority. I am choosing the least priority, which is 10. It starts from 1, it ends on 10. So this function has the least priority on execution of this hook, and I'm saying 2 because I will be passing 2 parameters. Now similarly, with the help of WP login failed hook, will store the data of the user who has tried to log in. So he won't have the user variable because he's not logged in. The only people who would be allowed to logged in is the one who has entries on the WP user table. Since the login fails, that means on the user who is trying to log in has no data on the WP underscore user table. So without wasting time, let's call that hook and start working on it. So similar to the function that we have, instead we don't get the user and everything else going to be the same. And now we would be calling these, and we'll be simply entering this, and instead of success it's going to be failed. Now if I try to log in again with some random values and click on login, you should get an error. As I get an error, I should see the table that got populated will have the status failed. Yes, that works. Now what we need to do is we need to fetch these values and display it in the backend. So to do that, we need the menu first. So to have a menu, we have a function called add menu, which is nothing but admin menu is the hook, and here we need to pass some more parameter to the function add menu page. So this is going to be the page title, this is going to be the h1, this is going to be the capability of the admin, and this is going to be the slug, and this is going to be the function. And when we click on this should get executed. Let's see, when you click on the admin, when you click on the menu, you will see the message, and over here we need to call the classes object. So let's create the class first that would extend the wp underscore list underscore page class, and so this is a class, and we need to create the object of this class in order so that we can see the table. Let's do that. So just as we made the echo, here we have created the class, and we will be overriding the prepare item function, and we'll be using the display to display the table. Now whenever there is a table, there is going to be the header of the table, the rows of the table. So we need to define the columns first. Now this parent class will have a function called get column that we have overridden here, and these in the left hand side, these are actually the tables column, and in the right hand side, this is the column that would get displayed as the tables column name. Now we want to have a sort feature, so who all need sorting, that need to be defined with the help of the function from this parent class, and that function name is sortable column, get sortable column, and this is simply the identifier. You don't have to worry about it, but this is the actual column name. So these are the column names. If it is false, then the default sorting is ascending order. Now we need to override this prepare item class so that we can define the header and the rows from the table. Now to display the rows, what we need is we need to fetch the data from the table. So for that you need to use this global variable. Now we need to set the header. Let's do that. So with the help of the column, with the help of this function, I'm storing it in the column, in the name of, in the variable name column, and this is for the sortable. It's in the sortable, and this parent class has a variable called column header that accepts three parameter. The first one is column name, the second one, if there is any hidden value, hidden column that you want to show, that you want to hide, you need to pass here. I don't have any hidden column, so I am passing the empty array, and now we have the sortable column. Now we need to fetch the values from the table and display it. So along with that we have one more thing, which is pagination. So we need to define pagination as well. So to define pagination we need two things. The first one is total, how many rows should be there in one page, that we need to define, and we need to get the total items. Let's do that. So to get total items, we can simply pass the get vars, and we need to get the count from the table name, and the per page we'll just make this, and this isn't enough, we need to give some pagination logic. Let's do that. Now we need to, if suppose we have 10 paginated pages, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Now consider I'm in the 6th page. So to get the page which you are currently in, we need to give a function which we will be getting it from the parent, which is get page name, get page number. Suppose you are in the 6th page and the current page would be 6. Now since you are in the 6th, the data that need to be shown would be, per page we have defined, which is 3 6 9 12 15 18. Now consider we are in the 5th page, and we need how many, from where the ID should be. The ID would be from 1 to, let's say, 18, and since we are in the fifth page, and the value should be from 12 to 15. So for that we need to give a logic. I'm not going to repeat it, just rewind it and you'll get it. Since you are in the 15th page, the value that need to be shown on the page would be from 12 to 15. So for that, the logic that we need to write here is, we need to pass the offset value to the query, which is this is going to be 5, and this is going to be, let's say, 5 minus 1, 4. 4 threes are, which is 12. So we need from 12 to 15, that value need to be stored. Now we'll need to write a query, and this query will have the offset which we have defined from 5, and the limit per page is 3. So these are digits, so percentage %d is digit and percentage %d is again digit. So what happens is, percent per page is going to be 5 over here. So this is per page and this is the offset. So as I said, the offset is going to be 12 and per page is 3. So from 12, 13, 14, 15, these three values will be displayed on the page. So this is the query that is written accordingly, and this is an associative array. We are passing it to the prepare statement and again to the get result function. Now we need to display the table. So for that, we have a default column default. So this is row, this is column, and display row with the associative array, because we have mentioned here as an associative array. So this is going to be the row and this is going to be the column name. We can just make this as row. You delete these, and these should be outside prepare items, not inside prepare item. Now we have defined this. If everything goes smooth, we should see the table. Yes, since we have used, likewise how we have used the delta db, we need to use the column name here. We need to first call the name of the we need to call the location first. With the help of require once, we'll display that. And now undefined variable order by. Yes, we need to also mention order by, since we are passing it to the query order by an order by login time and in the form of descending. So this is going to be the default. So now if I click on status, see the URL, the order by is now login status and the order is ascending. Now we don't need to pass this default value, we need to make this dynamic. So based on the click, if I click on username, you should see order by username and it's in the ascending order. So based on the click, you can see it's going to be ascending and descending. Now we need to check the URL first. So to access the URL, we have a PHP variable get. Let's just do that. So to access the URL, we are calling it the order by, and we don't need this sanitize as of now. And just get the values from the URL and assign it to the order by. And similarly for the order over here, just get the value from the URL. You can see its order, you can order and store it into the variable. That's it. And now you should see the values would be in the form of ascending and descending. That works. If I add one more value, you could see the pagination. So let me just make this 1 per page. I just need to show only one data, and you should see the pagination in action. Cool. I hope the scope of this video is done. Let's meet you in another tutorial. Until then,